Strike was Eisenstein's very first feature film. He was only 26 when he began to shoot it. His professional experience in cinema was very limited. He had made on film a 4-minute parody, Glomov's Diary, to be shown as part of a theater production. He had studied at the State Film School for 3 months and had helped Esther Schupp recut Fritz Lang's Dr. Mabuse. But Strike was totally different from his own short films and from any other films of the period. It was an introduction to a new age of Soviet and world cinema. A famous actor said at the time that Strike would have been a marvelous backlash for himself, but Eisenstein had deliberately chosen the film to make a film without stars and without a conventional plot. If Strike had been made in the traditional way, we would have had a melodrama, a love story between the daughter of a factory owner and a young worker who became the leader of the strike. Eisenstein rejected this approach. He wanted history as the story of the film. Not the history of one specific strike, but how all strikes develop, how poverty and exploitation create conditions that explode into protest and action, how confrontation follows a similar path of all disputes, and how the authorities can manipulate a crowd and use this to repress a protest movement. The film has no individual heroes. There are representations of historical forces, the factory owners, the workers, policemen, thieves, Cossacks. Workers were played by workers. This was Eisenstein's theory of typage, or types. This gave his film integrity and a sense of real life. The negative elements were shown as caricatures, played by proud cult actors in a grotesque, exaggerated style. Eisenstein underlines their characters in the way he cut the film. For example, juxtaposing spies with images of animals, the fox, the bulldog, the monkey. Sometimes his irony is amusing, sometimes it is bitter and tragic. The repression of the strike is illustrated by some very shocking shots of the slaughter of a bull. Eisenstein once said that as a child he had never even heard a fly, that the tragic images in his films were not a sign of sadism, but the only way he felt he could represent the real image of history. Strike was enthusiastically received by the younger generation of Soviet film critics and filmmakers. It was the first successful film made about and for the masses, the ordinary people. Eisenstein became a leader of Soviet cinema, and his next film, Battleship Potemkin, was to be his international breakthrough. But now, here is Strike.